Welcome guys. From now onward, we are in CSS Intermediate level. In this chapter, we are going to see CSS Display property. Few important notes. The display property specifies the display behavior of an element. That is how the element is going to be displayed in the page. It is required to implement the model layout like flexbox and grid layout. Some of the common values of the display property are inline block, flex, grid, none, table, etc. In this chapter, we are going to cover inline, block, and inline block values. Let's understand what is block level element. This block level element always starts from the new line. The browser add some space, that is margin, before and after the element automatically. It always take the full width available to the element. Some of the example are div, which is very common block level element which we have seen in the earlier lessons as well. Paragraph, h1 to h6, article, aside, etc. Now, next is inline element. It does not start from the new line and it always take the width as much as necessary. Some of the common example are span, anchor tag, image tag, bold, BR tag, button, and others. So here we have some boilerplate code with the CSS applied to image tag as height as 150 pixel, and then we have some HTML code, okay, for showing the demo purpose. Okay, now let's see the preview. On the right side we have the preview of the HTML content we have written on the left side. So here this is HR tag, which is also a block level element, and H1 is also a block level element. Here UL and LI are also block level element, while anchor is the inline element. Let's see through the inspector. And here if you see over it, then you can see this is shown as the entire width. This is as well and this one as well. But if you see this one, okay, that is anchor tag, then you can see only that much space is available. Okay, and here you can see, okay, so this is like li, which is also the block level element. Okay, and then ul, which is also a block level element. Here image is a inline element because it is taking that much space which is available to the element. And similarly, when we have two elements for image, then they are basically rendered adjacently. Now let's convert our block level element into the inline element. How we can convert the block level element into inline? So that is basically ul and then li. Okay, and that's what we will do. Instead of display block, we will just say in line. And now if I save it, then you can clearly see all those li from the ul element are now rendered adjacently. Okay, and if we give some margin to the right or margin uh, top bottom 0 and then left right as 10 pixel, then you can see it looks similar to how a navbar item look like. This way we can also design the navigation or menu bar. Similarly, from inline to block, here we have an image, okay, and then that is just a inline element, and here we have two image, okay, which are rendered adjacently. So what I will do is I will just take this class and apply the CSS to img and then make it the image as a block level element, and if I save it, then you can see those two images are now displayed on different lines. Here using the inspector, if I check, then you can see the image is taking the full width and here it's just the margin. Okay, and now one of the very interesting thing is to center the element. Then if we do margin auto, then it becomes center. Okay, this is one of the very important concept of centering the image. Now let's move on to the next part, which is basically inline block, and here we have just a section with some content in it. Here you can see we have a division which is just a block level element. Let me give as inline block div and then I use the CSS and give it a border as 1 pixel solid and red, and then we have a box appeared. And now inside this, if you see lorem ipsum dollar $sit and then there is a span. Okay, and it's basically inline, and that's why it is basically coming along the line. Okay, and here we have an inline highlighted block. Okay, so let me basically just add a CSS, okay, and make it as a block level element. So I will just apply inline block div and then CSS, probably background color as yellow. Okay, and then first to make the display as block, and let's see what happens if I save it. Then you can see that particular span is now converted into block level and is visible from the start of the line, which is this one. Similarly, if we do this one, which is the highlight inline block, okay, here, okay, which is the lorem ipsum do sit, and then same thing, okay, emit, okay, up to here. And if you want to apply, okay, uh, the background color, okay, then inline block div, and here, okay, display inline block, okay, background color as yellow, then only that much part of the text is colored. One of the important difference between the inline and block level elements is setting the height and width. For example, if we remove this part, okay, then both are same. However, if we apply the height as 10 pixel, okay, or 50 pixel, then you can see it doesn't have any effect. Similarly, if I apply width as 200 pixel, okay, then it doesn't have any effect. However, for inline block or display block element, if we specify the height, then you can see that particular CSS is applied. And similarly, width as, okay. So the one of the important difference in inline and block or inline block element is that we can specify the height and width to block and inline block elements. If you want the element to behave as an inline and able to apply the height and width, then we need to use the inline block value. I hope that through this chapter you have understood inline block level and inline block level elements and their differences as well. And now you will able to understand how to use them properly. Thank you for watching. See you in the next chapter.